Life in the Divine Sense. The Third Testament. Revelations of Jesus Christ. Chapter 44. The necessary equilibrium. Thus saith the Lord. The destiny of each person, with his or her spiritual mission and human mission, is drawn. Both must harmonize and tend toward a single end. In truth, I tell you that I shall take into account your spiritual works, but also your material ones, for in them I shall find merit to help your spirit arrive to me. Up until now, it has been the pride of man that has prevented him from knowing the spiritual, and that lack of knowledge has prevented his perfection. As long as man does not learn to keep his material and spiritual powers in harmony, he shall not encounter the balance that should exist in his life. Disciples, even though you live on earth, you can live a spiritual life. You do not need to separate yourself from material things in order to lead a spiritual life, but live in harmony of the laws of man with the divine laws. Blessed is the one who studies my laws and knows how to unite them with the laws of man, because he will be healthy, strong, elevated, and happy. Healthy and unhealthy pleasures. I do not tell you to depart from your material obligations or from the healthy pleasures of your hearts and senses. I only ask you to renounce that which poisons your spirits and makes your bodies ill. Whoever lives within the law is obeying the dictates of his conscience. Whoever flees from permissible pleasures in order to immerse himself in forbidden ones, asks himself, even during instances of greatest pleasure, why he is not happy, or why he does not find peace. From gratification to gratification, he slowly descends until he is lost in the abyss, without finding true satisfaction for his heart and his spirit. There are those who must succumb, draining even the last drop of the cup from which they vainly sought pleasure, so that they may then hear the voice of He who is eternally calling them to the feast of eternal life. The scientist cuts the fruit from the tree of science with disrespect, not listening beforehand to the voice of his conscience, through which my law speaks to him, to tell him that all the fruits of the tree of wisdom are good, and therefore whoever takes them should do so only when inspired to benefit his fellow men. These two examples I have explained to you teach you why humanity does not know love nor the peace of that internal paradise that man, through his obedience to the law, should carry always in his heart. I have come to teach the sinners, the disobedient, the ungrateful, and the arrogant to help you to find. To have you understand that you are gifted with the Spirit, that you have a conscience, that you can reason and perfectly evaluate that which is good and that which is bad, and to show you the path which will lead you to paradise of peace, wisdom, infinite love, immortality, glory, and eternity. Men do not always interpret my teachings well. I have never taught you to ignore or refrain from tasting the healthy fruit that my laws order and concede. I have only come to teach you not to pursue, and much less to love, that which is useless or superfluous. That you not take the fruit, that which is unhealthy or unlawful, favorable to the spirit or the material form. Yet, all that is lawful and beneficial to the spirit or the heart, I have entrusted to you, because it is within my laws. Much time has had to expire for humanity to reach spiritual maturity. You have always fallen into two extremes. One has been materialism, by which you attempt to reach ever greater worldly pleasures. And that is truly prejudicial, because it deviates the spirit from its mission. However, you must also avoid the other extreme, the mortification of the flesh, and to complete denial of all that pertains to this life. Because I ordered you to this earth to live as men, as human beings, and I have shown you the straight path to follow, so that you may live, rendering unto Caesar that which belongs to Caesar, and to God that which is God's. I created this world with all its beauty and perfection for you, and I have given you the human body through which you must develop the gifts I have given you for reaching perfection. The Father does not wish you to be deprived of all the good things that this world offers you, but you must not give preference to the material over the spiritual, for the body is passing, but the spirit belongs to eternity. Blessed and cursed wealth. When it is my will to make you the possessors of earthly goods, I give them to you so that you may share them with your needy brothers, with those who have no wealth or support, with the weak and sick. Many of those who possess nothing on earth may in exchange share with you their spiritual wealth. I wish all to be yours, but that you know how to take conscientiously of what you need, that you know how to be rich spiritually, and if you know how to make good use of it, and give to each and all their true place and value, be able to possess much in the material world. What harm can it do to the spirit of a man to be immensely rich, if what he possesses is of benefit to his fellow men? And what harm can it do to a man to be powerful, if his spirit knows to take time out at opportune moments to pray, and if in its prayer it is in communion with me? Do not say to me, Lord, I see poverty among those who follow you, but among those who do not even remember you, and do not even pronounce your name, I see abundance, pleasures and satisfactions. My people will not take these cases as proof that he who follows me need be poor in the world. Yet I tell you that those who you so envy do not know and cannot buy with all their wealth the peace of those who hear and who consecrate part of their lives to bestowing charity. There are those who know how to possess at the same time the goods of the world and of the Spirit. Others to whom the things of the world are not given because they have forgotten the spiritual, and yet others who are interested only in the things of this world because they believe that the divine laws are an enemy to earthly treasures. Goods are always goods, yet not all know how to use them. You must know also that not all of that which many possess was given to them by me. There are those who have been compensated by me, just as there are others who have gotten all they have by stealing. The greatest evidence you may have of your obedience in life is your spiritual peace, not the quantity of your money. When I tell you, ask and ye shall be given, you ask me for material goods. Truly, you ask too little of me. Ask me above all for that which benefits your spirit. Do not make hoards on earth, for here what you find is stolen. Store up your treasures in the kingdom of the Father, for there your riches shall be safe, and shall serve for the happiness and peace of your spirit. The treasures of earth are the false greatness of riches, power, and titles. The treasures of the Spirit are good works. The vain believe they are great without being so, and they are indeed small who content themselves with the superfluous riches of this life, without discovering the true values of the heart and spirit. How small are their wishes, their loves, and their ideals, with how little they are satisfied. But he who has learned to live is he who has learned to give to God what is God's, and to the world what is the world's. He who knows how to rejoice in the bosom of nature, without becoming a slave of the material. He knows how to live, and though apparently possessing nothing, is the owner of the goods of this life, and on the road to possession of the riches of the kingdom. the law of giving. If this humanity had faith in my word, they would bear me in their hearts, and would have always in mind that which I said to the listening multitude. Truly, I tell you, whosoever gives away even a cup of water shall no wise lose his reward. Yet men believe that if they give something away, they receive nothing in return. And so, to protect what they have, they guard it for themselves alone. Now I tell you that in my justice there is perfect understanding, so that you never fear to give away what you possess. Do you see those men who accumulate and treasure things, and share their possessions with no one? Those men bear a spirit that is dead. In contrast, they who have consecrated even the last breath of their existence to giving their fellow men what they possess, even to the point where they may be seen alone, abandoned, and poor in their final hour. These have been guided always by the light of faith, which has shown them in the distance the nearness of the promised land, where my love waits to give them compensation for all their works. Come, so that I may restore true life to you, and remind you that you have been created to give, but that while you do not know what it is you bear within you, it will be impossible to give it to those who have need. See how all those that surround you fulfill their mission of giving. The elements, the heavenly bodies, the beings, the plants, flowers and birds, all of them, from the greatest to the imperceptible, have the gift and destiny of giving. Why do you make of yourselves an exception when you are the most amply gifted with the divine grace of loving? Oh, how much you must grow in wisdom, love, virtue, and power, so that you may be a light on the path of your smaller brothers. What a beautiful and elevated destiny your Father has provided for you. Compliance with debts and obligations. In the third era, my spiritual doctrine shall give the Spirit the freedom to spread its wings and ascend to the Father to offer Him true worship. Yet, men too, as human beings, have worship to offer their Creator, and that tribute consists of fulfilling their duties here on earth, obeying human laws, using good and moral judgment in their acts, and complying with their duties as parent, child, sibling, friend, master, and servant. He who lives in this way shall have honored me on earth, and there shall be an opportunity for his Spirit to ascend to glorify me. He who shirks the weight of his mission, he who turns from or ignores the responsibilities his Spirit contracted with me, in order to act according to his whims and will, shall be unable to feel true peace in his heart, for his spirit will never be satisfied or calm. They are those who are always seeking pleasures in which to forget their sorrows and anxieties, deceiving themselves with false joys and fleeting satisfactions. I let them travel their path, for I know that although today they depart, forgetting and even denying me, soon, when reality wakens them from their dream of greatness on earth, they shall understand the insignificance of the riches, the titles, the pleasures, and the honors of the world, when they must confront the spiritual truth faced with eternity and the divine justice that none escape. No one is unaware of this, since each of you has a spirit that reveals to you, through the gift of intuition, the reality of your lives, or of the road that is drawn out for you, or what it is that you must do there. Yet you insist in freeing yourselves of any spiritual commitments, so that you may feel free and like the owners of your own lives. Before your spirit was sent to this planet, the lands were shown to it. It was told that it would come to sow peace, that its message would be spiritual, and your spirit rejoiced, promising to be faithful and obedient to its mission. Why then do you fear to sow? Why do you now feel unworthy or unable of carrying out the labor that so overjoyed your spirit when it was entrusted to it? It is because you have allowed the passions to place themselves in your path, blocking the passage of the Spirit, and trying to justify its indecision with childish arguments. You should not return to the valley from which you came with your hands empty. I know that your bitterness would be very great. To each one has been assigned a portion which he must guide or cultivate, and that mission is not ended by physical death. The Spirit in the spiritual world, as in the material, continues to sow, cultivate, and harvest. The greater spirits are those which guide the lesser, and these in their turn guide others that are still less developed. For the Lord leads all of them to safe pastures. If I told you that the greater spirits are those that guide the lesser, by that I do not say that those spirits have been great since the beginning, and that the latter will always be smaller than their brothers. Those which are now great have become so by elevating and developing themselves in the fulfillment of the noble mission of loving, serving, and helping those who have not achieved the same grade of spiritual elevation. Those that are still weak, and those that have become lost or which suffer. Those that today are small will tomorrow be great through perseverance on the path of evolution.